How was the morning?
Well, not bad. You get out the field last night in full pads at 8:30, and you flip it and you're back on the field at 8:30 in the morning in shoulder pads. This was a good challenge for him today. Shorter practice, but still a good challenge. The tough come out and get better, and the weak don't. And as coaches, you need to see who those people are. You need to see who meets these kind of challenges. And we worked on backed up offense and defense today as our situation, and 2-point plays and things like that. So more good work in that area.
The last 2 days, I guess you guys have been doing the thud tackling and not the tackling to the ground. How have you liked what you've seen, or what have you kind of assessed things so far?
Well, the thud tackle, I always believe this, that you got to be a better player to do that well than to tackle. To tackle, you can leave your feet. And in this, you got to stay up, you got to keep your balance, and you try to keep the backs up. You go to an NFL practice, they do it day in, day out. Good athletes can do it, bad athletes are on the ground. And we got to be good athletes, and we got to learn how to do that, because you can't scrimmage every day, but you got to figure out how to go hard. And when we do have some elements of scrimmage, and we got to make the best of it. But we can get a lot done if we can learn how to full speed block and thud tackle. Well, we've made some progress there. Still we have some guys make bad choices on how to do that, but for the most part, we've gotten better.
Coach, talk about Tyler a little bit. Obviously, he's your franchise player. If there's a Tom Brady on this team, that's Tyler Jones, right? And his progress this year, where he is from the last year.
Well, it's been a real pleasure to watch the development of this young man. From not smart enough to know what he didn't know when he was a freshman to the tremendous gains he made last year, and this offense is built around him to a large degree in the quarterback position, and that a lot is put on him, and he likes that. He relishes it. He has become a much better leader. He's never been a bad leader, but I see him doing more. I know he feels the responsibility to do that, and he's been told numerous times that he has to accept that role and be more vocal, and he has. The first year he got here, I wondered if he'd ever speak to me in sentences. It was yes sir and no sir, and that was it. So we're way past that one. In fact, he'll even argue with me sometimes, which he wins some, he loses some. More losses than wins, probably.
As far as his development is, seeing the offense, running the offense, throwing the ball in the right spot, he's leaps and bounds of where he was.
No comparison. Understanding what to do and why he's doing it. His freshman year, he did it. He didn't always do it right, and sometimes he didn't really understand completely why to do what he did, but he did it. And the overriding factor with him is that he is such a competitor and such a winner that he's going to find a way to beat you if he can. And the great thing that he does, in addition to that now, is that he expects so much of himself that he won't tolerate anything from the rest. And he accepts the responsibility well, and the growth offensively has been light years from year 1 to year 3. I wish it was the NFL where you had him for 10 or 12 years, but it just doesn't work that way. But we got to play him as a true freshman. He wasn't probably completely ready for it, but the team believes in him a great deal.
Coach, last night you said the offense looked a little spotty. How'd they look this morning?
They were better today. They were terrible last night, but they were better today. And unfortunately, that's the way things go during practice. A little up and down sometimes. Sometimes, you put different drills, put different sides of the ball in tougher situations, but you need to be in those. But we didn't execute well last night. We missed some assignments. We didn't block very well. We'd have got beat by 150 by Florida State last night, and it just wasn't a good night. But they did bounce back. They accepted the responsibility. They did a nice job of putting it on their shoulders. Meetings were ugly last night for them. They knew that. They didn't like what they saw. That's good. They didn't like it, and they wanted to fix it. And that's what you respect about your players, and that's what I like about my team is they do accept those kind of things now, where maybe a couple, 3 years ago they didn't understand that factor, and their expectations are high, and so they want to fix things, and they want to know how to fix things, and they want to get them right. And you either strive through practice or you survive through practice, and the guys that want to get it right the tough ones, they strive, and the guys that survive, then they have a hard time.
Watching Coach Thompson, I was commenting with someone, it looked like the Jets were on the way they lined up, all the different looks and everything. How difficult, from an offensive standpoint, is it to understand where everyone's coming from and know your assignments? How much pressure does he put on the opposing offense?
Well, we've seen everything in the history of college football defensively in the last 12 practices. I mean, he hasn't missed anything, and so it is a challenge. And I was talking to him last night about, we're going to have to change how we work against each other because we get so assignment oriented against John that our technique is not making the steps that it needs to be. So we may have to control some of that, maybe go ones against D2s and have some control over things so that we can see people get better with the right steps, with the right fits, with the right shoulders, and things like that, which our fundamentals have to catch up because we're a whole part whole teaching system. So we taught everything in the first 8 or 9 days. Now we're trying to clean everything up. But if we continue to see all the things we see as an offense, then it's hard to not be too assignment oriented, and you don't want to. You got to get your steps and things more natural, more habit forming in camp to go through the season. You don't want to get to the season and you're behind on some of those things, and that's John's strength and what makes the defense successful is that he keeps you off guard, and so we have to do what's best for both sides of the football. I don't want to slow down their development, but I've got to manage to find a way within the system of practice to make sure that the offense can get into the rhythm and technique that they need to.